another stream tonight, and this time we are heading off to the land of the Netherrealm as we head back to Mortal Kombat. Now, some of the towers we have already done, excluding the right to rule, which I don't know if we're going to get that one done in time before it resets. But right now, we're going to go to the ice rink and take on Frost, as there are some new objective rewards you get for completing that one. And we're going to go crazy and put it on brutal difficulty, because I'm insane. Of course, we're going to use our boy Noob Cybot. Of course, I have Fire Ninja, the Myth, the Legend, Heartless, and Brad in the chat party. How you doing tonight? Fire Ninja excluding Sony acting stupid. Which seems to be an everyday occurrence, as of late.
I just stopped Adam Cole from hitting me in the head with a chair.
You must be playing WWE.
Yes. Try not to get beat.
And there is a lovely Killer Frost, Frost, aka Fire Ninja's.
We are siblings in Cryomancer.
One of his two waifus. We already know who my waifu is in Mortal Kombat, and that's Melina. Because I'm weird.
One fight.
I mean, why do I keep saying Killer Frost? Crap, I really gotta stop reading comic books at night.
Because Killer Frost is a good villain.
Oh yeah, that too. I know I'm still gonna win the match because I had the media burning her butt.
Finish her!
Good night, Frost. Today's been a productive day for me overall, between getting over 21,000 trophies, completing the chapter on Evil Within, and tomorrow, of course, it's back to use your words on my channel, if everyone's available. We gotta land 5 ducking attacks. That is the daily challenge for today. But right now... Oh, hell, okay, I am not gonna be doing the right to roll because it does the one thing I'm not a big fan of overall in the Towers of Time mode. And my boy Fire Ninja knows what that is, respectively.
Online.
No, well, besides that, that one's okay depending if you have a good partner. No, AI battles only. So we're gonna screw around on this tower real quick, and then we're gonna go to one of the gold towers to get a bunch of money. Because money is good, honey. I know, never do that again, right? And first up, it is Shao Kahn taking on Jade. I will say, because I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to Twitter or Ed Boom's things as of late, but he's been teasing both Nightwolf and Sindel coming out next, so I wonder what the odds are we might get both of them at once. Probably not that great.
Kitana
okay, I'm
becoming
back.
Khan must burn you.
And Brad, you are right. Those were the surprising four. Granted, I actually had to look them up because three of the names I did not remember. And I'm going to say this. EA, you screwed up on the ratings. Three defensive players should not have an overall 99. Particularly when one of them is usually injury prone, excluding this past year.
What's wrong with playing defense?
There's nothing wrong with playing defense. You know me, I'm a defensive-minded guy. But with that being said, the only one that was any good was Mac from Chicago. The other two that are on that list really didn't play any key factors for their team. I'm a firm believer the only ones who should ever be over 199 in Madden should be teams that made the playoffs. Furthermore, teams that made the Super Bowl. Yes, I know one of them played for the Rams, but did anyone watch that Super Bowl? The Rams did jack shit. I'm surprised they didn't give the referees an overall 99 for screwing the Saints over.
Long, Jade.
You won't threaten her rule.
Round one. Fight.
I picked Triple H instead of End of the World variation. Well, that's alright.
What do you have more bad guys? A class named Triple H.
Yeah, Shao Kahn. It just works with that one.
Round two. Fight.
Well, won that his WrestleMania costume the 1 year.
It was.
Won that when they had Charlotte and Sasha Banks coming into the ring with him. And Alexa Bliss with him.
I think Mayor should
is
be able to
Heartless
do the
back
one,
or no?
Nah, he ain't back yet. Alright, so I don't have that brutality unlocked for him yet, but we're supposed to be doing fatalities, so...
Finish her.
Alright. I got enough tokens.
Fatality. Shao Kahn wins.
Man, the Oilers lost game 2 to the Rays. That's not a surprise, since the Oilers have sucked this year. As I said before, we are probably one of the worst we are the worst team in baseball this year.
I saw on TV that they had Hawaiian shirt day at Camden Yards today.
Yeah, I guarantee you most people they probably did not care.
You saw all those empty seats during the... My dad was watching it in the middle of the day, and I saw all the empty seats there.
Well, tickets are actually dirt cheap for them right now, actually, but that's because, and I've said this before, when sports teams start doing bad or they're eliminated from playoff contention, that's when their seats are usually very cheap.
I saw a sign there that said, buy 3 games, get a 4 free.
Yeah, that was a running joke. That's been one of the jokes we've had for the last few months, actually, because of how bad we've been. Yeah, as a matter of fact, here's our record, guys. The Orioles' record is 28-63. The closest team next to that record is the is the Detroit Tigers at 28-59. We are doing worse than the Detroit Tigers, barely.
I'll say that Orioles Hawaiian shirt actually do look pretty neat.
By the way, those are the 2 worst teams in the American League, followed by the Seattle Mariners at 39-56. In the National League, your 3 worst teams are the Miami Mariners, Miami Swordfish, whatever the fuck they're called, the Cincinnati Reds, and the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, so you know about the Mariners being owned by Nintendo?
I don't really care about the Mariners. Who cares about that?
Because what you used to be able to do, you could go on your DS and get on like I guess the in-park Wi-Fi. You could order food and they'd bring it right to you on your DS.
Maybe it's because I'm somebody who actually, when I'm at a baseball game, I actually like to walk to get to the food stand. It's a part of the experience.
But then you don't miss it. You don't go to, like, as soon as you exit the thing, you get a beer. It's like, oh, now they hit a home run.
That's never happened to me.
Or if you go to a football game, get a beer. It's like when you go out, they're like, "Oh, you got interception, running back for a touchdown."
Yeah,
Right when I went out
that
to the
doesn't
booth.
really. That's once in a. That's never happened to me either at the football games I've gone
is
to.
off limits.
Ha! A line in the sand, boy.
I did notice when I went to the last time I went to the Ravens Stadium, is that the beer bottles are like the plastic bottles, and they take the cap, so I guess you can't throw them on your field.
Yeah, that's done now because you have idiots who like to throw it on the field. If anybody remembers that Brown Jacksonville game from years ago.
Like years ago when I used to work at Coles, one of the other guys that was there, it was like a side job. But his real job, he knew a guy that had season tickets, so he'd give it to, so he'd sell them for cheap and he couldn't go. So the last Ravens game I went to was the year that everyone was like, "Oh, the Patriots are gonna be 16-0," and when the Patriots came to Baltimore, and they had like 6 chances on fourth and 1 because they're the Patriots, and they always got all sorts of bullshit chances.
That's how you like the end of the world better. And for the rest of you who want to care about the teams that are looking like they're going to win their divisions, in the American League, the Yankees lead the East, the Twins lead the Central, and in the West, it's the Houston Astros, and in the National League, it's the Atlanta Braves,
busted open.
the Chicago Cubs, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And for wild card standings, for you baseball fans, because I do still watch baseball when I can, in the American League, the Tampa Bay Rays are the #1 wildcard team, with the other 2 wildcard teams being Cleveland and Oakland. Remember the 2 worst wildcard teams, they will have a playoff game to go into the playoffs, so the first one gets it I think gets it automatically. I don't know how. I keep forgetting how the wildcard system works. No, it's the top 2 teams. Okay, my mistake. So Cleveland and Oakland, they're having a tie right now. And in the National League, it's the Washington Nationals, and Philly has the other spot, but Philly only has a half-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers and Arizona Diamondbacks.
So, Doug, how come baseball does not have a salary cap?
Well, baseball, I can kind of understand why it's the only one that doesn't.
Because that leads where you have a team that's stacked everybody else like the Yankees, and it sucks.
Well, remember, in baseball they play more games too, more games than hockey, basketball, or football combined.
It's like the Yankees just buy all the best people and then they win just because there's no other competition.
Well, they haven't won all the time. I'll keep that in mind when they have done that. Just because you have the best talent one does not mean you're going to win every year. Alright, so we're going to do one of the Shimmering Stone Tower keys, which is the Catch of Wealth Tower. I've not seen any other selected keys. Unfortunately, I already had the Baraka skin. For this, you do not get any... does not count towards your rankings. Oh my god, I forgot it's a hard difficulty. Holy crap. Yeah. I forgot about that. But you do get with it, you usually get a lot of coins, you get some kind of stone, and you do get 2 consumable awards as well. But they're mostly stuff that you can only use during matches. And for this one, we're going to be using the right Shao Kahn this time, the End of the World Shao Kahn. Which is supposed to be my favorite one of the 3. And be note, this is also, to me, one of the more harder towers, just because of the fact of, it's a pain in the ass.
I'm bleeding.
And then go get a towel.
Or here, Doug, we saw Lucha Underground when Pentagon Jr. talked, they had subtitles. There's no subtitles for Pentagon Jr. this time.
Yeah. Again, I don't like Pentagon Jr.
But he did speak a little bit of English this time, so he was learning some.
Wait, what the hell? What thought I was facing Shang Tsung.
Are you aware of our future? I know what the Thunder God does. I will teach you to
I think they're
avoid
challenging
his
someone
wrath.
to a ladder match because they're standing on a ladder, and I heard them say ladder.
I know I am going against Shao Kahn. It's Shao Kahn versus Shao Kahn. Oh, the humanity.
Oh, if they challenge the Young Bucks to a ladder match, that's what happens.
That's what I want to see, a Young Bucks.
What are they gonna do? Super kick the ladder? Is that what the Young Bucks are gonna do?
Probably. I'll just say the Young Bucks are a little overrated today. Don't hate the look, it's just... They are a little bit overrated.
Well, isn't like 85% of their moveset super kick?
Yeah, but I'll give them credit. They know how to market it. They got T-shirts.
And the Usos do the same thing, but no one calls them out on it?
They Usos do other shit besides super kicks.
Game where says super kick party.
Yeah, and Usos
I've
don't...
seen Usos matches where it's mostly super kicks, like all the time.
Then apparently you're not paying attention, because I've seen them do Samoan drops, suplexes.
If Heartless comes back on, he'll tell you. He'll agree with me on that.
How did I even a Shao Kahn clone?
Fatality. Shao Kahn wins.
Just for people aware, I'm not trying too much on the Towers of Time rankings because I don't really want the Ronda Rousey, Sonya skin. Since I don't really play as Sonya that much to begin with.
Now they have said every match has a time limit, so I wonder if they're ever going to do a time limit draw on any of these.
If they do, it'll probably be for a title. To continue the build-up for it would be the only thing I could presume. And now we take
They
on
have the
Shang
NXT
Tsung.
North American Championship now.
Kenny Omega's back coming out now.
So I gotta do a
Oh boy,
Cyrex
Kenny
and I got...
Omega.
What's his other mod? Because that doesn't look like Rain. Baraka Kumi caught into a... Oh, it is Rain. Okay. Yeah. So Baraka
See,
and Rain
Doug
helped
thinks the Young Bucks are overrated. I think Kenny Omega's overrated.
Well, I haven't really seen him, so I can't really see.
Well, I like Kenny Omega, but then yet again, I'd probably say he's overrated too, but then I'd probably just deal with it with him.
Round 2. Fight.
God dang it, Rain. Okay, Baraka, you're a dick. What in the... How did he stop that? Bitch.
Finish him.
Time for you to die, Shang Tsung.
Fatality. Shao Kahn wins.
Alright, so Crash, me getting my 21,000 trophy has 6 views, kinda hoping that gets more. Moth must not be home tonight, I guess.
I couldn't tell you.
So I gotta deal with Noob and Tanya, who are helping Devore. Oh, that sucks.
How long does the new round take to start?
I don't want to hear Devore talk. I hate her. I'm still here.
So we're talking about something you're done when you're talking about the Young Bucks, about all the super kicks, and I say that you guys do the same damn thing, but no one called them out on it.
Oh,
What
I
do you
think
think?
you're so point.
Because Doug disagreed.
Well, I've seen him do other things besides super kicks.
Alright, Huz, do you agree that they use a very high ratio of super kicks?
Usos?
Yeah.
No, you need to say it. You need
Hold
to
on,
say it the
let
way
me
you
finish.
had it worded. Not you, Heartless. You said that's the Usos just all they do. They don't do any other moves but super kicks.
No, I said they do the
No,
same
that's what
thing
you
as the Young
said.
Bucks, where they're like 85% of the moves are super kicks.
Yeah, but when I pointed out
think,
they do other moves, you said, oh no, they don't.
When it comes to the Usos, they do a majority of super kicks, but I'm not a fan of their style anyway. There was a time when they were trying, but they're only doing the super kicks because that's what the Young Bucks are doing. That's the only reason they're doing them as much as they do. But there was a time when they were. But that is a long time ago. Now it's all, they don't even fly out of the ring as often as they used to either. But that could be good from WWE not to do the high flying spots and
Yeah,
for
because
other individuals.
I think they try to save that for the pay-per-views mostly now with them flying over the ropes.
But the same goes for the New Day. I don't find the New Day entertaining in the ring. That's fine. You want to make them your pancake people? That's fine. But
I have
for me,
pancake
say,
dealers.
if I see the New Day on the card, oh, the New Day's facing the Revival. Oh, I see the Usos facing the Revival. Oh,
Who cares?
I see, you know, the Revival versus the Authors of Pain. Maybe that might be something interesting because we haven't seen that. Or you see,
We think about the Authors of Pain, how they had their stuff come back. It's Super Showdown and haven't been seen since.
Well, they've been seen at house shows, but the issue is they've been jobbing at house shows.
To who?
Everybody.
I think they jobbed to Ricochet and Aleister Black at one point.
Oh, no, here's how bad it is. They even jobbed to the Ascension.
Yeah, because they want to get the Ascension over now. That's the new direction, is to get the Ascension back onto the main card.
Yeah, so pretty much now the authorities are... But again, it just proves that Vince either hates tag teams or hates NXT wrestlers. Take your pick.
What tag team was it that sold all the Undisputed Era? They do the Fall of Man, but no one complains about that.
Okay, so
you do
let's
know
go over
most...
this again. No. Let's go over this again. Yes. The Fall of Man is not the same as the Undisputed Era's move. If you go into the game, you can see there is a difference in the move.
Well, it's the same general idea.
No, it's not. That's like saying the Doomsday Device is the same as the goddamn 3D. It is not the same. No.
Oh no, that's different.
No. Or saying the Doomsday Device is the same as the Steiner, whatever the hell their fucking bulldog on top of.
The Steiner line.
No, the Steiner line was just a regular clothesline.
I thought they got...
the
No, they called
bulldog
it Steiner something.
The bulldog was something. I can't remember what it was called. But that's beside the point. Any tag team move that looks similar, then by default you should call it the same move. No. That's like saying, okay, so you've got the stomp, okay? There's a prime example of the stomp. Alright? Which is called just the stomp now. They didn't want to call it, they don't want to call it the curve stomp anymore. Before it was the blackout. They don't like calling it the blackout because apparently that's what the new Fade to Black, Aleister Black kick is going to be called. It's going to be called the blackout. Oh, and there we go.
Yeah, and I was
You
going
will
to
destroy
say...
him.
and I was gonna say we've seen even if you think even if you think it is the same move, which I've seen and I don't think it is, but we've seen wrestlers use the same move. I mean, shit. I think I mean, let's remember AJ Styles started using the Styles Clash, and then he started using it in WWE many years later. Michelle McCool, you know, hers was shit, but almost everybody
What
copies
were
or
you
does a
saying?
move.
I got the party error.
We were talking about certain individuals using other people's moves. It always happens. But at the same token, and I agree with you, Doug, that does happen. If a move gets over, but look at. Here's an example. Here's a prime example. And I touched a little bit of this when I talked to Fire Ninja yesterday about Richie Steamboat. Maybe it wasn't Fire Ninja. It could have been somebody else. But Richie Steamboat was a prime example. Okay. Richie Steamboat's finishing move was the what? Anybody in the party? Anyone?
I want to say crossbody, maybe.
Bueller? Anyone? No, not that. It was the Sling Blade. And as soon as, like literally verbatim, a month after he started doing the Sling Blade, he started doing it. AJ Styles was doing it in TNA. Seth Rollins started doing it. And then when AJ Styles came in, he started doing it. And then he stopped doing it. Same with the Pele kick. Was another one. Finn Balor was doing the Pele kick. All of a sudden, AJ Styles doing the Pele kick. Now they both do it. Maneuvers like that don't mean anything anymore. It's not like back in the day where, you know, only one or two guys could do the DDT, you know, like you had Arn Anderson and you had Jake Roberts, you know, and then it progressed to, oh, Raven does the DDT, and then it progressed up further to, you know, Maurice does the DDT, to Alexa Bliss did that bad DDT for a while. And then, you know, Eva Marie even did DDT at one point. Like, wrestling as a whole, maneuvers don't mean anything unless there is a story. Just like you can have a 5-star, 5 to 10-star match. If there's no build, no story connected to it, no one's even gonna watch. That's what kills me about the pre-show matches. You can put on a 5-star instant classic on the pre-show, but if there's no build, and you don't even take the time and courtesy to put it on the main card, no one's gonna watch. No one wants to sit around for 20 hours watching wrestling.
Oh,
especially if it's, as Doug says, predictable, regardless of the company. But that is the nature we live in. A lot of it is predictable because of how much wrestling we've watched, how much wrestling there is out there now, whether it's WWE, TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Back in the day, we were lucky to get 2 or 3 of those if we were lucky.
Yeah, because back in the day, I remember it was,
Yeah,
if you didn't have the TNN channel, you pretty much had Turner Broadcasting in USA.
Yep. And you didn't have the internet like we have, where everything you can either order it online, you can stream it for free. There's no tape trading like back in the day where like, hey, you gotta see this match, call your friend over and let him watch the match. That was how I was introduced to TNA during the NWA era. Was like, oh, you gotta see this guy AJ Styles, he's phenomenal, incredible, right? And this before he was coined as phenomenal. And I watched him, was like, I was not impressed, to be honest, I was not impressed. I was not. He had a cool entrance music, the entrance song, which was fine. The I am was okay. And you know, he did a couple of cool moves. But again, that was another problem with TNA was writing wasn't there. Again, problem, it all boils down to don't have a story arc, regardless of who does what move. You're not going to bring the fans back to watch. It's like the casual, it's another example, the casual people who watch WrestleMania. I'm sure everybody in this party knows one or two people who will watch WrestleMania, and that's the only event they'll watch all year. Why?
Probably because, see, I know one person who watches WrestleMania, but his reason is because if he watches Raw, SmackDown every week and every pay-per-view, he says it's gonna start feeling predictable once it gets closer to Mania, and to where the storylines ain't really gonna matter. You're just gonna be like, okay, is my favorite guy going to win, or are they just gonna disappoint me? he at least goes when I don't watch it for the year, then watch Mania. I don't know any of the storylines, so I'm actually I have a better chance of being shot. I have a better chance of not knowing the outcome. I might actually get something wrong.
Okay. So for the casuals, the casual viewers will watch WrestleMania, and here's the reason why. They'll watch WrestleMania, and they'll only watch WrestleMania for 3 reasons. A, they're at a party, and that's the only thing on.
Yeah.
Like a WrestleMania party, you know, we're gonna go get drunk and watch WrestleMania, and they'll enjoy the fuck out of it. Like I know a guy who he watched the one where Undertaker versus McMahon, and Owen, and that's the one where Shane went through the table. And I'm mistaken. Is that the one?
Jumped off the
How-
cell.
how-
Shane McMahon match, he always goes through the table.
Yeah. Okay. So there was that one. He was like, it was insane. Shane McMahon was incredible. And I'm like, you've never watched a wrestling match in your life. You know that this guy sucks. But
You will find
and then the
no
other 2 reasons
allies
are.
here. Your plans.
It would be free on the network or something, some sort of deal like that. Or the third one, which doesn't make any sense, is they just happen to stumble across it by random choice. And they never watch it because they are offended. No one decides, oh, it's WrestleMania, let's go watch it. Unless you're a wrestling fan. No average fan is going to go, hey, let's go to the bar, or they're at the bar, sorry, that's the reason they're at the bar. Which a lot of ballers don't even do anymore. There was a time when they used to do that all the time. You'd go to the bar and you'd watch any sporting event. You know?
I don't mean to interrupt, Heartless, but that second one you said bars, yeah, because the 2 closest bars to me, Hooters and Buffalo Wild Wings, they don't show any pay-per-views, not even for boxing or UFC.
Yeah.
That's because the bar has to actually pay like way out the ass to show this. They gotta pay like a license fee for every single TV in there.
I don't think it's by TV. I think it's by square foot. It's by square foot of the establishment. It's not by TV.
Because the last time I saw a WrestleMania at a bar, and this tells you how long it's been since I watched a WWE event at a bar, was the night Ric Flair retired. The guy who owns it said it was kind of a bust. You know, everybody in the bar had fun. He didn't make a lot of money because he needed a packed house, and he only had half house.
Yeah.
You know, you pretty much, when you're showing pay-per-view events at a sports bar kind of place, you need the place packed, or else you're not going to make your money back. And then you got to hope they still order food, because some bars who do it, they charge you. You know, they charge you to stay the whole time. But if you're not just paying to stay there, but you're not drinking or eating anything, those losing money.
It's the same thing with theaters, because theaters used to do that for the time period too. They used to do the events. And you would pay like, I think it was 3/3 of what pay-per-view cost would be. So it would be like $20 or something like that. And in theory, that sounds like a great idea. It's kind of like the closed circuit system that they used to do back in the day. But if you were like some people, and I think Desk had this happen too, where you go to watching the theater, and there's like just you and maybe one other person in the theater.
Oh no, they never done that around here.
Yeah, oh no, then maybe because it's somebody else. But it doesn't make for a good experience. Whereas if it's packed, you know, you can hear some people cheering. Like some people will cheer when they watch a fucking movie or pay-per-view in an arena, and it makes it a little bit better. But yeah, no, they sort of started to zone that out because they want people to buy the network, which is another thing that makes no goddamn sense. Buy the network for $11 or $15 a month or whatever the hell it's up to now, when you could be charging people $30 to $40 for a pay-per-view like everybody else. They are losing money on the network. There is so much you can do with the network. Yeah, the US version of the network, not any other country. And that's just a prime example. UFC's the same way. Their pass is like $20, but like you're losing money by doing this. Like honestly, you're losing money. Like, if you were to charge full pop for a pay-per-view once, and then you're good for, like, 6 months or, like, a year, I could see that being more viable for subscriptions. And you'd make money.
What is your problem?
You
Nobody,
aided the usurper.
nobody thinks that's a good idea. I know everybody likes the price
He
low,
was
but like
pissed
as a
off.
businessman, that to me that doesn't make any sense. Especially
I don't
with
even know how
so
much
many
it is
people.
right now, because last time I had it,
I
it was
think
like
it's
still
$9.99 or
$9.99. Okay, so
$11.99 or
$10 still
$10.99,
in the
something like
US
that.
then. Yeah, because I'm sure Vince, you know, he loves the idea of the network. I guarantee he's losing money because it's just $10 a month, so that's
Plus plus they do the sign up now and you get 2 months free, or
2 months
like
free,
this month
yeah.
it's 99 cents.
Oh my god, that...
Well, I always heard the fees they're paying to the cable networks for pay-per-views were almost just as much as they'd only get like $10 or $15 from it anyway.
So I think it's a little higher than that. But
Well,
still,
I can actually tell you this, because, you know, because they've been advertising... what the hell was the name of the pay-per-view tomorrow?
Extreme Rules.
Thank you.
Extreme shit or shit rules. You gotta pick one or the other.
Well, we're going to call it by its
Stop
legit name, Extreme Rules. You can't say it's shit till after the pay-per-view's over with.
Oh, no, that's how it works with WWE pay-per-views. You always gotta replace one of the words with shit, see what you get.
Nah, I disagree with that philosophy.
Like next month, it's either Summer Shits or Shit Slam. Where you gonna go?
It's called SummerSlam. Get it right. I don't get people who like to add silly names to crap. It just makes me angry. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to click this. I'm not going to order it, but... Let's see. If I want to order the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view, it's going to cost me...
In standard definition.
Standard, well, no, HD, because we have the DirecTV. You can choose HD or HD or normal. The normal one is, I shit you not, $49.99. So $50.
And
If
the
I want
HD
the
is
digital
69.
version, I gotta pay $59.99.
And you don't get to keep it. And you don't get to keep it. It's just the streaming service price.
Well, you can always record it on your DVR. No one's stopping you.
I don't think they allow. I don't think they allow that with pay-per-view.
No, they do.
No, DirecTV does not. DirecTV...
I've recorded WrestleManias on the DVR before.
DirecTV is a little weird. You can only DVR it if it's the replay. If it's the first running, you can't. But on the flip side of that, the replay is usually like $20-$30.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds about accurate.
Also, speaking about SummerSlam, Horace, did you see that SummerSlam ad promotional image that I sent you that they're using?
How Sasha Banks is in the poster? Yeah, they've been teasing Sasha.
They're still...
They've been teasing.
If she's not coming back tomorrow, I don't think she's coming back unless they decide to bring her back on SmackDown and be like, oh my god, she just pinned her friend Bayley. Which, knowing WWE, there's a chance that could happen.
I don't think it would be smart for her to come back as a heel right away. I don't think anybody wants heel Sasha anymore.
Probably not.
And what they're gonna do with their new people keep on saying, oh, they're going back to Attitude Era again. So what they're gonna do is Bayley's gonna lose, and Sasha's gonna come out and console her after she loses. And
then what? She's gonna go crazy like Io Shirai did on Candice LeRae and beat the hell out of her?
No, they're gonna make out after this.
Oh my god.
Okay, stop it, Des. Stop it.
You know, that gets me to a point I want to bring up, because I'm seeing it on Facebook a lot. Everyone's like, oh, we need to go back to hardcore wrestling. We just need to have table matches every match. And I'm like, you know, I remember back in the day when I was growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, we didn't need weapons. We had great matches, great wrestling.
Again, you had
matches.
built up in story.
Well, okay, I've said before, some stories have actually ruined matches, and some stories have helped matches, depending on what it is. And I would say in this day and age, I'm the first one to say it, I don't really care about storylines anymore, just because of the fact that we know it's predictable, scripted and all that. It's kind of like, I don't really care for the story, I care about the story told in the ring kind of deal. which is probably why I like Lance Storm so much. But it's like I actually had somebody argue me saying, and I'm not making this up, saying Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn in a hardcore wrestling match in ECW was better than Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage from WrestleMania 3.
I don't know if I go that far.
I'm like, I could understand if you said Hogan and Andre, because while the match was terrible, but the build-up for it was great. But, and then it was like, oh, Bret Hart is a terrible wrestler, and Canada's never given us a good wrestler before. And I'm like, this is why I hate hardcore. You know, I know everyone gets on me because I love old school wrestling. I love the wrestling in the ring. I don't care for promos as much anymore. I don't care for storylines. But at least I can still say a match is shit, even if it has a good storyline build-up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we know we've seen some storylines that have a great build-up, but then the match is disappointing.
You mean like Sting and Hogan?
Okay, the Sting and Hogan match, and I've said this, the problem with it was...
That was Sting's fault.
It was Sting's fault and Nick Patrick's fault, because Nick Patrick was supposed to do a fast count, and he did a normal count.
Well, I was there live, and I had no idea what was going on. Like, what's going on here with this matchup?
Yeah, depending on who you believe, everyone's in agreement on the part of Nick Patrick did a slow count when it was supposed to be a fast count. It was supposed to be 1, 2, 3 because they wanted to remake the Montreal Screwjob because Bret was there. The problem is Nick Patrick screwed up the finish. He was supposed to go 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3. A lot of people believe this was done on purpose to make Sting look bad. A lot of people believe that Hulk Hogan paid Nick Patrick off. A lot of people believe Eric Bischoff told Nick Patrick to do it on purpose to make WWE look, to make Bret Hart look stupid when he restarted the match. So, you know, one of those things, who do you believe there? Now, the match itself was not great, but again, at the same token, you've built that, you had that storyline built up for what, almost 2 years, a year, like almost, let's see, 96, over a year. Yeah, that was not going to be great, because Hogan at that point was not that good of a wrestler, if I recall. He was not great. Could still entertain you with his promos and story, but 97, he wasn't really doing a lot of, you know, great in-ring work.
Why, you didn't like the Big Buddha do?
No.
Not a big fan of the Big Buddha do?
No. I have
brother?
said what is surprising if you watch Hulk Hogan in WCW and WWE and then you watch his stuff in Japan, he wrestles completely different.
There's more freedom in Japan, that's why.
Yeah, more freedom. I actually saw him do an Enziguri in Japan and I was like, holy fucking shit, Hulk Hogan can get off the fucking ground? Again,
now he has bad knees.
Now
That's
he's got
why,
bad
because
knees.
he did that one Enziguri.
He did that one Enziguri and it fucked up his legs for life.
Well, no,
that's
it's him doing the
exactly
leg drop, messing his spine up. That's what it was.
Well, I've said before...
Well, if you look at his old leg drop, he jumped a lot higher.
He jumped a lot higher, and it was more
WWE.
believable even back then, granted we were all kids.
Yeah.
And I've said before, going back now, looking at it, the only two people, the only ones who should be doing leg drops to me are fat people. Mostly because, I'm sorry, a fat man, I don't care who you are, if a fat man's gonna jump on you, yeah, believability is like, you're gonna die.
So then Nia Jax should just do leg drops from now on, no smaller drops, just leg drops?
As her finisher, her finishing move should be a leg drop. That's the only thing I will say, because of how tall she is, big she is, it makes sense.
You change it from fat to tall.
Yeah, I know, sorry. I'm drinking beer, okay? I am drinking beer right now. I've been drinking beer since I started the Evil Within Let's Play, okay?
Is that why you haven't beat the Evil Within, because you're drunk? Way to go.
You know, I've said before, sometimes I'm a good player drunk.
I just noticed there's been no John Moxley all night. I just noticed.
Probably because they're trying to say, maybe he's going to interfere in the main event. Maybe he's... Oh, no, wait, that's right. Ain't he competing? I think he's competing in the G1 thing.
I will let no deal.
So I don't know if that's going
Does it
on
really
or not.
matter? Does it really matter if there's no John Moxley? Like, what do you honestly expect him to get?
Yeah.
I said I just noticed it, that's all.
Because, I mean, I think most people who are going to that pay-per-view probably were going to that pay-per-view for whatever the matches were. Kind with Evolve tonight, depending on who's the caller.
Well, tonight's a free show. So it's for charity.
Nothing wrong with that,
Does that man have a family? Is the question. Does that man have a family?
does that man have a family? Somebody stuck the goddamn match. That man has a family.
Harless is well aware of John Moxley's family. He's all about John Moxley's family.
And I will say, and this brings me to a
we don't
point
open that door anymore, Des.
with wrestling and nowadays, because, and this is probably one of the best things going on in wrestling. You can see wrestlers who don't succeed in WWE go someplace and get way over and succeed because they're not hampered by creative control. Well, not always, but
not always.
The majority as of
prime
late.
example is what was his stupid fucking name? Fire Ninja. You probably know where I'm going with this one. A prime of someone who was over in the WWE but chose to go to greener pasture, and instead of going to greener pasture, he went to TNA, and he became.
You're talking about Bobby Lashley?
No, because Bobby Lashley's run in TNA was better than his.
Yeah, but remember, Bobby Lashley actually won all the titles at one point.
But that's not saying much because TNA is still the land of food stamps.
Well, let's give TNA this. They were actually smart with Bobby Lashley's character. They didn't have him talk. They just had him show up and beat up people.
At the time, I will give him credit what they've done with certain individuals. That's all you're getting from that. He had such a stupid name, and that was Damien Sandow when he went to TNA.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean. I remember that gimmick.
I forget his name.
He was playing like a Liberace gay character.
He should have just went to his original name, which was something Idol. I can't remember. Idol something or something Idol. Instead of what he came on. Damien Rex or some shit like that.
Yeah, Damien Rex. And I remember that gimmick.
Or Aaron Rex or some shit like that.
Was I know he was Aaron Stevens for a while.
He was playing like a Liberace gimmick. If I recall, coming out in flamboyant colors and everything. Was playing the music and all that. He did win a title there, a singles title, surprisingly, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it was the X Division title, I think it was, wasn't it?
No, it was their version of the TV title, which was the fucking 3-round bullshit.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's an example of someone going to a greener pasture because he was unhappy.
Which,
but let's be honest. If I'm Damien Sandow, I would have stayed in the WWE because let's call a spade and look at Neville, for example. Yeah, he may be doing good matches, but is he getting the exposure that he should be getting? That he would have if he was in the WWE, or the paycheck? Not even close. But a guy like Cody, who runs his own company, yeah, he's going to get the exposure because he runs a goddamn company with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, and they got a good owner.
Nobody in the undercard is going to get the kind of exposure as the uppercard and the guys who run the company. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. They're not going to put over John Moxley. They're going to maybe put on a good match, but they're not going to put him over as their champion. They may have put him as a U.S. champion in fucking New Japan, but AEW is not going to make their buddies, unless they're really good buddies, champions. Like, look at Jericho. Another example, Jericho is almost like a founding member of the company, but is Jericho a champion?
I don't even think they have any titles crowned.
They don't have a champion yet.
They don't have any champions yet.
Yeah.
I thought they had a title already.
No.
They have a title, no champion.
Yeah, the main event is between Hangman Pills and Chris Jericho at their next big pay-per-view you had to spend money on to get.
Why wouldn't you do this now? Like, I don't know why the big drag. Why are you dragging around?
I actually don't mind because it's giving you a chance to build it up and anticipation.
So what they're doing is
you can't really build things up when you don't even have something that you can focus on, like a weekly thing.
Yeah, because they're not on
TV. You have like the charity thing, which is probably the only show they're really gonna have in between.
Well, I think what they're doing is all the people who are winning matches, they're the ones who are going to be in contention for the title. I think that's what they're doing.
And I get what you know, with Neville and even Damien Sandow, maybe they should have stayed in WWE. At the same time, I can understand why people want to leave because they don't believe they're getting used on the card correctly. They believe that other people are getting pushed who should not be getting pushed. Ryback would be one occasion. Roman Reigns, Enzo Amore. You know, I know everyone's going to be like, well, Enzo was great on the mic. Yeah, but Enzo was a fucking shitty person backstage. Everyone agreed with that,
Well,
and he couldn't wrestle
Enzo
for shit.
didn't leave on his own terms.
I said the only reason
Enzo got fired, didn't he?
He got fired because he was accused of something, you know, which turned out not to be true. But even if that didn't come up, I was expecting him fired within the next year or so. Anyway, because he couldn't wrestle.
Let me just interject real quick since you brought up Enzo, and then I'll let you go back to what you do. As for Enzo, I agree with you. Bad in the ring, good on the mic, and an asshole backstage. But when you have allegations put against you, it's kind of like it's like you're honestly giving WWE the opportunity to fucking fire you, because he could have said, "Hey, I'm having some legal issues" beforehand. He chose not to. He chose to let it go to the point where the media got a hold of it, and everybody knew the story before even talking to WWE. And then play like he's the victim. Come on. And then you do a rap album after you've been let go.
Yeah, which I've heard that rap album. I've heard that rap
song.
I refuse to listen to that garbage.
Like, that's just retarded.
I tried to watch the video just to see how bad it was, and I couldn't make it past like 20 seconds.
I've watched the whole thing because me and my stepdad watched it because we hate rap music, but we're like, this is probably going to be so bad it's ridiculous. I gotta agree with what James Cornette said. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was in English, and it's pretty much become. And as much as I'm saying it, fine, Ninja, you're correct. It's become one of those so bad it's good things because it's so terrible, so badly written, so badly sung, that it's like become the joke of, oh, you want to hear a good song and people play that now, as a joke. You know, and
wasn't Macho Man's rap album all sorts of disses at Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, but Macho Man Randy Savage was actually better. I can't believe I'm saying that. And this will be the only thing I'll defend Enzo on to a degree. When it was all said and done, it was proved that she made it up and everything. I said, okay, she's in the wrong. I wish we could do something to her, but apparently she's going to get off scot-free for defamation of character. That is kind of effed up. But Enzo, don't play innocent either, because you know as well as I do, you've done some stupid shit in the backstage area.
Well, the same thing happened to, what's his name, James Carmel.
Big Cass?
James Ellsworth, what happened to him.
James Ellsworth, I don't know the story on that, because I don't really pay attention.
Well, that was proven to be fake also.
Okay, and unfortunately, I can't really blame WWE for firing them either, because you don't want to wait until everything's out, and then people get more mad at you, and then you still have to deal with you still got to deal with the people who are sponsors and everything. So I know why they did it, because it was probably done to make the sponsors happy. At the same token, though, and I'll use Rick Swann here as an example, he was fired because he was accused of doing something to his wife, a.k.a. Sue Hun from TNA, and then come to find out, oh, she started it. So it's like, yeah, not ironically enough, they're still happily married, and they're both wrestling in Impact, where he's the X Division champion. Congratulations to him on that. He's had it for a while now. But it brings a point, though, that you got to tread carefully, because sometimes you don't know if the accusations are actually true or not, and then when you do fire someone, and it comes out the accusations were false, you kind of look like an idiot. At the same token, if you find them they actually prove to be true, you look like you're a genius. So it's kind of like that. And sword. Catch-22. Yeah, if they would have kept them, there would have been people wanting to pull out of their sponsors and everything, so I'm sure that they were just trying to beat ahead of that, which... and I will say this, and with a lot of the guys who wanted to leave, I don't know the main reason why Dean Ambrose left. I'm going to presume he wasn't happy where he was in the booking or what his character was.
Oh, it's because if you listen to the podcast, he goes into excruciating details of what happened.
I know one reason was because they wanted him to put over EC3, which he didn't mind, but EC3 one was some kind of, I think it was like a...
No, what happened was because everyone knew he was leaving, that they cheered for him instead of EC3. That's
yeah, that's right. And then unfortunately EC3 got buried the next week, which I kind of just felt that was odd. And you can tell EC3's not happy.
Like, he was allegedly sending his dong to underage girls, and then all of his indie bookings got dropped, but then it turned out that was all made up.
Why? Because it wasn't his dong, it was someone else's dong, but he was still sending it to people?
No,
Is what you're
someone I
saying?
was out to, no, someone I was out to get him or something like that.
Who would be out to get... Who's going to take the time to be out to get James Ellsworth?
Probably somebody who's jealous he actually got to be in the WWE not
I
once
honestly
but
don't
twice.
know anyone who wants to spend that kind of time to go out of their way.
I think there's someone he knew personally was out to get him or something.
Oh, personally, so that's out of the business. And I will say this, you know, I don't... If you're able to leave WWE and you're able to get success elsewhere, I'm happy for you. Because, that, you know, people, those fans like me who are hardcore, who watch Japan, Ring of Honor, NWA, Impact, blah, blah, blah. And for some of them, it's, you know, they're able to find their footing. Juice Robinson, ironically enough, has already said he left Impact, and when he went to Japan, like a few months later, Vince started calling his phone, and Vince wanted him back, but he said, I'm not going back because of how I was treated in NXT.
Who? Who is this?
Juice Robinson.
Who knows Juice Robinson?
The guy who won the New Japan US Heavyweight Championship, and then I believe just dropped it to...
No, but when was he ever in WWE?
He was in NXT, and he was pretty much told by Vince, you're never going to get caught up because we don't like your gimmick of being a bum surfer.
I don't remember Juice Robinson in NXT.
He went by a different name in NXT. I can't remember what he went in NXT.
So they don't like him being a surfer, but they're losing their shit over Matt Riddle now? Is that what he was?
Pretty much, that's what he said. You know, he said I was supposed to be the surfer dude, Stoner, and Vince said that wouldn't work. No one would believe a surfer gimmick in wrestling. But now you look at Matt Riddle, who's over, and what's his gimmick?
Who's garbage?
Matt Riddle's not over.
Really?
People just like saying bro. It's the same thing with Cassius Ohno.
Well, Cassius Ohno I love. So
no, but it's the same thing with Cassius Ohno.
Heartless is saying people love to say bro along with his thing or something like that.
That's my point. They just like saying bro. He is not over.
You could have fooled me because I've seen people wear his t-shirts at events. I've seen people wear his t-shirts on Twitter and Facebook.
That doesn't mean you're over. It means you like the shirt. It's
you do know how Vince looks at how you're over with merchandise sales, right?
I know how Vince looks at shit.
That's why New Day would never break up.
Okay, I know how Vince looks at things, but here's my point. Okay, with the case of Matt Riddle specifically, well, using Cassius Ohno as support for this argument, people just like saying bro. Okay?
I don't like saying that word.
No, they like chanting bro. Same way people like saying oh no when Cassius Ohno comes out. They like saying oh no, oh no.
Well, I say hero.
Alright? And then the other one...
Same thing with Adam Rose.
I'm not done. The other one is the War Raiders. Which are not the War Raiders, they're the Viking Experience. People are still gonna chant war, 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 war when they come out. That's how people get over with the audience, but not in ring. You can have a great entrance and a great character, but if you're no good in the ring, I am sorry. Matt Riddle sucks in the ring. He is worse than watching really slow, old ring only matches with William Regal and David Taylor. Okay.
But I like those matches.
Oh, I'm not done. They're both
also needs a more longer
they are both talented wrestlers. But if that's all you're bringing to the match, you are going to bore people in this day and age.
I disagree because I liked watching Regal versus Finlay and Regal versus Dave Taylor. I'd prefer to see one of those matches nowadays.
I'm for if you're going to do a technical match, but there has to be something other than just rolling around the match. Because I can only watch fucking Baron Corbin and his stupid fucking headlock for so fucking long.
Well,
and
that's the point.
Matt Riddle wrestles.
You just don't have him wrestle Baron Corbin. Problem solved.
No, my point is, if you've seen Baron Corbin wrestle, he does that stupid neck vice fucking headlock. It does
I've seen it
nothing
and it makes me chuckle that I've seen people do it better than him.
You could say that about a lot of people.
Another thing about Matt Riddle's, he needs to wear longer shorts.
I think that's what he was like, because that's what he wore when he wrestled in MMA.
Yeah, but he looks like he's about 2 moves away from the Don coming out. He needs to wear longer shorts.
Well,
Why are you looking at his dog?
yeah, that's my first question. I mean, I know a lot of these MMA guys who end up going into wrestling, they like to wear the gear that they wore in MMA, which, hey, that's
Well,
fine.
it's better than his first outfit where it was like, oh, stare at it in your face.
Yeah, but I guarantee you this, a lot of the women in gaming were probably happy he's wearing that. As much as people don't want to admit it, sex still sells in any business.
Alright, I'm gonna get that's how close all the young bucks are coming out, so I'll be back.
He's not coming back. Well, you get my point.
I get your point, you know, too.
He's not over. He's not over. Okay?
I mean...
Because if he was over, that match with Roderick Strong would have been good. I don't know if anybody watched it from the last NXT. It was not good because the whole match, Roderick Strong is beating the hell out of him. And they rarely ever did this in NXT. In WWE, they always do this. The heel is beating the shit out of him, and then all of a sudden, Roderick Strong hits Matt Riddle hits 2 moves and he wins the match.
Okay, so he put a John Cena. Or Stone Cold Steve.
You don't get, well, Stone Cold at least could wrestle, but like, Cena, yeah. But like, if you want to get someone over, you don't do that. You honestly do not do that. That doesn't help your character, especially if they're having trouble transitioning over. How does that help?
Since I don't watch NXT anymore, since I don't own the network, I can't really say, because I'm basing off what I've known before they're in NXT. As somebody
should. That's probably the only product that's worth watching on the network.
On the network, I hear that all the time. It's the only good thing worth watching because Triple H knows what he's doing. I've said before with Roderick Strong,
it's surprising to say it in its own. It's surprising to say that that Triple H knows a thing about wrestling. It's really surprising to hear that because we know how much he used to bury everybody in the locker room.
Yeah, I do remember the old shovel gimmick everyone does on WWE. They always do one where he's dancing with a fucking shovel.
Okay, I'm back.
He's not back.
You know, based on what I've seen on Matt Riddle and MMA in his indie time, I don't hate him. Granted, I'm honest, I'm not a fan of the stoner gimmick. I wasn't a fan of RVD's gimmick with that either. For what I've seen him in the wrestling...
Hold on, what do you mean? What do you mean, RVD stoner?
Yeah, I know.
Well, just because he airbrushes his singlet doesn't mean he's high.
You know, as I do, RVD smokes pot. Shit, we all know this.
You don't get fired numerous times from a company if you're not high.
I mean, shit, did you not remember he lost the WWE title, then the ECW, and got suspended for 30 days because he was caught with marijuana and other drugs in him and Sabu's car? Granted, I'll give him this. He took the blame. He made sure Sabu didn't take any of it, so I'll give him props for that. Granted, Sabu probably owed him a lot of crap after it was done. But yeah, we know there's wrestlers who do have a hit. Even Jack Swagger, who I think is clean now and is now in the MMA and doing very well. And there's another guy I like. Jack Swagger, I enjoy his matches, but I'm like, he'll never be in the main event just because of the fact of he's not that great on the mic. He can't really connect well with the fan. He was a world champion, but it was a terrible run. It was a terrible run, unfortunately.
Well, the other thing about Matt Riddle, his last match, he kept on getting the shit kicked out of him repeatedly. He's like, "Oh, I'll still kick out too."
We went through that.
We already went over that. You know, again, like I said, with Matt Riddle from base, what I've seen in his indie days, because like I said, I don't really watch the network because I don't want to buy it again, and I don't really watch NXT as much as I used to back when I first had the network. Based what I've seen on the indie scene, he's not bad. My issue with him, and you could kind of say it's the issue with Ronda Rousey and even Ken Shamrock and Dan the Beast 7 to a degree. You know, I love Dan the Beast 7. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time in the top 10. They have a hard time transcending from MMA to wrestling because in MMA, it didn't really matter about the storyline. It didn't matter about interacting with the fans or, you know, trying to sell a T-shirt or something. Pretty much it was a match. You didn't know who was going to win. Either you were going to win or your opponent was going to beat you by knockout or submission. I think a lot of these MMA guys have a hard time going into that because of the fact of they now have to build up stories during the match and, you know, and promos and everything. They have to learn to interact with the fans and everything, you know, get the fans hooked. A lot of times it doesn't work. I know with Ken Shamrock they tried to, and Shamrock I've said was not a bad wrestler. I enjoyed his work, and same with Dan the Beast. The issue is, if you didn't watch MMA back then, or you weren't into MMA, you hated it. And then, of course, it didn't help when you had Ernest the Cat fucking Miller trying to do that shit, and it was just stupid.
Hey, what's wrong with Ernest Cat Miller?
A lot.
Everything. Ernest the Cat Miller for one.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, he's a nice guy. He is a nice person. I've got to hang out with him at an NWA convention. One of the nicest guys I've ever talked to. But he was a shit fucking wrestler.
There's that, and he nobody called his mama.
No, until Brodus Clay came out.
Why, Brodus Clay called his mama?
Yeah, he calls his mama. He actually calls his mama on the news, on the Fox News thing he's on, surprisingly.
No, someone called Ernest
Why
Miller.
does he call mom to give her hugging propaganda too?
Nails on a chalkboard.
No, let's not bring politics up. I was just saying what station he's on.
Oh, hell no.
You could say that for every political party, so moving on from that.
If you didn't know, in America, Fox News is the most blatantly biased entertainment program that parades as news.
You could say that about every news station. You could say that about NBC and CBS and Fox.
Yeah, but
and
Fox,
CNN.
they don't even try to hide it on Fox. It's so
Neither
outrageous.
does the other ones. I don't get why you just bash them and not the other ones. I bash all of them. Because all of them do it. You're acting like only one does it. This is why I said don't bring up politics. Don't bring it up. And what do? You bring it up. So moving the fuck on. Shit, where were you? Oh yeah, with the MMA.
Those political parties, am I right? I said that as a joke because I'm not even paying attention to the conversation anymore.
Why, you don't like conversation?
No, Fine just playing the game, and he knows my stance on politics. I've actually defriended people and blocked people on Facebook and Twitter who just spend all their time doing nothing but that.
Well, Hollis, did you hear what Trump tried to say happened during the revolution?
Okay, let's stop.
I just said don't bring any politics up, Brad. If you do it again, I will kick you out from the chat party. Because I'm the host. I will do it. You know my stance on politics. That's why I left Facebook for you, because I got tired of everybody on fucking Facebook. And this is the reason why I was gone, everybody. Because everybody wanted to know why. Well, here it is. I got tired of every time I posted something video game or sports related, somebody would want to turn it into, oh, the Democrats say that's a terrible game, or the Republicans do, or this independent party does.
Did they even play the game?
No!
Well,
they wanted me to get into politics because I didn't want to talk about it. And that's why I left Facebook for you, because I got tired of being dragged into political conversations. I don't care about politics. I've said that before. My philosophy is you keep whatever your beliefs is in that shit, even with religion, you keep it at home. You don't mention it on Twitter or Facebook or goddamn streams. When you do, you start losing me as somebody who gives a fuck and will just leave. That is my only warning to everyone on that.
I'm just going to make one comment on religion. And I'm going to drop the religion aspect of it. I'm going to say it just once. I'll have you know that man had a family.
Okay, I know you're trying to make me laugh, so thank you for that. But yeah, I'm a firm believer, and even when I was working at places, people would want to know my religious or political views and beliefs, and I've said, I'm sorry, I keep that at home with my family, and that's where it belongs. It doesn't belong out in the public. Family. It doesn't belong on streams or Twitter or Facebook. And then what I find hilarious is when people do post that shit on Twitter or Facebook, and I have friends who do it on both. They're like, they get mad at other people who have a different view than them. I'm like, If you're gonna want, don't post that shit on there then. If you wanted to, it's like shit. You don't see me getting mad when somebody says the Cowboys should never win another Super Bowl. I'm like, well, you hate the Cowboys. I can respect that. You don't want them to succeed. I can respect that, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm still gonna cheer for them anyway.
Okay, so now I lied. I have to go back to religion because I have to. With religion, regardless of what you believe in, unless your religion says go kill everyone in the fucking world, then you are worshiping the wrong fucking religion. I don't care if your God is named Allah or your belief system is Donald Trump or whatever, or even Satan for that matter. Unless your belief system is saying to go kill the fucking world and kill small children and sacrifice and blah 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 blah, where it ends someone else's life or does harm to anyone else, then fine, you're entitled to post, to share, to worship whoever the hell you want. If you want to worship John Cena, go for it, knock yourself out. The moment you cause harm to yourself or others, or make the world a worse place than it already is, at times, not all the time, at times, keep that shit to yourself, find something better to believe in, and watch Extreme Rules tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
I'm glad you ended on that joke, because I was almost wanting to, you know, I'm honest, I do have a friend who doesn't believe in a higher power. Granted, he's the first one to, he worships Albert Wesker, which ain't fun, you know what, if that's what gets you through the day.
Brock Lesnar?
No, Albert Wesker, Resident Evil.
Oh, Wesker. He's just trolling it. He's just trolling you.
No, I'm not kidding. I actually do have a friend who that's who he looks up to every day and asks, what would Albert Wesker do today? I'm like, dude, I love Albert Wesker as next as the next guy from Resident Evil, but don't go that crazy.
I feel like this is secretly you, Doug.
No, trust me.
It sounds like this might be Doug trying to get over a sequel, a spin-off game for Albert Wesker. I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's
Hello,
like
Mr.
going,
Marta.
oh, it's my friend that does that.
Sorry if I mispronounced the name, by the way.
And then when
No, trust me, if I was trying to get any video game character over to get her own video game, it would be Melina, okay? We know this. Melina's my waifu.
Except she's dead.
She's dead and she had fangs that would have ate you.
That's what, no,
that's what he likes about her.
Hey, I like the crazy chicks. I've said before, I dig
he
crazy
wants to
chicks.
get everything ripped apart.
No, I just put a paper bag over her head like I was told in Scary Movie 2.
She would eat both her kidneys in a heartbeat.
And I would die happy, because I get to look at her crazy ass.
As she rips... You wouldn't even be able to see him. She's ripping out your kidneys with her teeth.
Again, I would feel very happy. Again, I've said before, I'm the weird one of the group. I'm into the kinky stuff. I've said that before.
Yes, because that is... Doug. You
With
disappoint
that
me.
being said, I will just say...
As I've said, if I ever get to bring a video game back, or bring one to the PS1, I'll probably choose an Outbreak or Sly Cooper.
No. The GameCube game, Day of Reckoning 2, so you can go and save, so you can go and protect Stacy Keebler in career mode.
I can do that with half the WWE SmackDown vs. Raw games I own on PS2.
But that one had probably one of the best storylines.
Well, I never owned
here
a
you go.
GameCube.
Here's a brand new headline about Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, we already knew he was arrested. We mentioned that earlier on the Crash Bandicoot stream. Little late to the party there.
Shall come.
Welcome to the party there, Brad. Or should I say it like Bruce Willis? Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, son. Alright, that's bombs, so I don't have anything to stop the bombs from falling on my head. Do 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 do.
You know how to stop bombs from falling on your head? Get an umbrella.
I don't have, okay, that's not exactly going to work in Mortal Kombat, unfortunately.
There's bombs coming. Get an umbrella. Get an umbrella.
Unless I'm the penguin who goes, wah, I'm the penguin, I have an umbrella, wah. Yes, that's my penguin voice from when I had to play as Penguin doing a children's theater thing for high school.
No.
Hey, the kids liked my penguin voice.
I don't think they did. I don't think anyone did. That's like saying people remember, that's like people saying I liked Michael McGillicuddy from the NXT.
I have to raise my hand now. But then I always liked him. I think he gets a bum rap because he's him and British Bulldog son. They both are in a bad they're both kind of in a bad situation because of the fact that everyone expects them to be as great as their dad, which.
With David Hart Smith, I didn't have a problem with him. But he's another case where he was unhappy. That's why he left.
And he's had great success in Japan.
Yeah, which is fine. All the power to him. Now, there are people that should have been better than their father, but were never given the chance due to their lifestyle and the business itself. And you know where I'm going with this, right?
Probably one of the Von Erichs, I guess.
No, well, you could go there. I was going a little more recent. The Flair family. I was going, David and, was it Eric? Was his other brother? Eric was his other brother? Was it David and Eric, the Flair kids?
I know who you mean, the one who...
The younger one who killed himself.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
That actually happened right when Ric Flair was supposed to be at the Maryland Theater here in Hagerstown, and they canceled because he died like that night or
And
before.
well, they should have, regardless if you paid tickets or not. From
Well,
all
he was just going to
reports
do
of
an
his-
appearance. He wasn't wrestling. But... So
regardless.
I thought he died in town, but I don't know.
Regardless of that, his wrestling career, apparently, he was, like, from people who saw him work, was really good, really talented. A lot of people projected him to be better than his father. But you know how life is.
Politics.
You still have that pressure. You still have that pressure of being from that family. Like, I'm sure, as much as we give Charlotte crap, I'm sure she gets a...
She gets a lot of pleasure because of who her dad is, and she probably has to be... She's probably always like, oh...
She probably has to work twice as hard. The problem with that is, I don't see her working twice as hard.
Cody Rhodes is doing the old Hulk Hogan and beating him with his belt.
Which is fine. It's part of the art. It's part of the ring gear. It's allowed. But that being said, David Flair, a lot of people would say, kind of missed the mark. But I never minded David Flair. I thought he brought a unique gimmick. Couldn't wrestle worth shit, which was his gimmick. He wasn't supposed to wrestle.
I thought his face looked weird.
That's what happens when you have different mothers.
Yeah, pretty much. Since Ric Flair has had, I think Ric Flair has had as many wives as he has championships.
Almost, yeah, 7 wives, I think. Said 7 wives and 4 different. He had 3 different kids with each, or not with each, but he's had 3 different kids with a few of them. None of them were the same. I think only Charlotte and the youngest one were the same mother. That's why his dad really hurt Charlotte the most. But I still think it's funny, like, the only time we ever saw David Flair in the WWE was that feud and build up with Undertaker. When Undertaker just went to his training gym, and it was, at that time, that's the same building that ultimately became the Performance Center. Just beat the shit out of him
Well, funny enough you bring that up, because many years ago, like I said earlier, I went to an NWA convention, and he was actually there. Him, Daphne and everything, and I actually asked him, because I was like, I remember you in WCW and of course the WWE thing, and I said every time I watched you, you didn't look like you really fit in or belong, and I said, if you think that's wrong, I apologize. And he said, no, you're right. I didn't want to. He actually said he didn't want to be in the business. The only reason he got in was because he wanted to be closer with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But then unfortunately, because he didn't even want to be in the ring. He just wanted to be at least backstage with his dad. Drive him around and all that. But then Eric Bischoff said, hey, let's use your son in the program. And then WCW wanted to use him more and more. And well, because he even said he didn't want to be U.S. champion. The only reason they gave him the belt was because Ric Flair demanded it, or else Ric Flair was going to leave.
Well, that type of person Flair was.
Well, yeah, but he said, I kind of thank my dad for at least, giving me the belt, but even I would say I did not deserve it because I was not that good. He said, I loved teaming up with Daphne and Crowbar. That was my most fun because I got to be with my friends.
Yep.
So at least, and that is the one thing, we said it earlier and we said it again, we see families whose kids either don't okay, you mentioned Richie Steamboat.
Yeah.
He had to retire because if many people don't know this, he actually had to retire due to a back injury, so it always makes me wonder, could he have been as good as his dad, or is he just not, or is he never going to get out of his shadow, which is one issue a lot of the wrestlers, when we start seeing more of these generation wrestlers come up more and more in the next few years, are they going to be able to get out of their family shadow? I mean, yeah, Orton did, but at the same time, DiBiase's kids didn't. Granted, I
was going to say, Randy Orton also had many different ways.
Oh, you're going by the different actors that portrayed it.
Your flunky really ticked me off.
That's more kayfabe wise. Like every time there was a wife sequence, we gotta get a new actor for, because he never ever wanted to have his real wife.
Well, I can't blame him. He doesn't want to be a part of the business, which to a certain degree, if that's the case, I give him props for respecting her wishes.
But yeah. I'm not surprised.
Don't make me laugh.
To be honest, because I know we've joked about Extreme Rules being them all. I don't even know like 2 matches. Joe and Kofi, and then the stupid mixed tag team match, which...
There's the Nakamura.
You forgot about the Undertaker?
Yeah, you forgot about the Undertaker tag match.
Yeah, I'm trying to forget that match for obvious reasons, because the only one who's actually...
Undertaker, Roman Reigns, yes. Sure.
Yes, tell them their tag team name. Or
the Graveyard Dogs, I believe their name is, officially.
Yep. That's the official name of them.
Yeah, because we
some of it caught off. What was that again?
It was Graveyard Dogs. We actually found that out last night because I was pulling up the T-shirt again because they said the T-shirt was so ugly, and then on the back it said Graveyard Dogs. I'm like, that's...
Yeah, it's so ugly that you want to be in a graveyard after watching it, after looking at it.
Yeah, if somebody buys that for you, that's not a gift. That's a punishment. I'm sorry, I don't care about the Roman Taker versus Shane and Drew. That match does... I'm like, what? Who cares? Taker's too old for this shit. Roman can't go.
I've seen that Undertaker might be wrestling at SummerSlam again.
I heard that.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew's gonna get buried, literally.
No, Drew's going over.
If I'm gonna say this right now. If Drew goes over Taker, I'm sure Rusev's gonna be like, "Fuck this company." You know why I say that? Because
I thought only Roman Reigns gets to beat the Undertaker. I thought that's how it works.
No,
this is the Taker's last year, so pretty much everyone who faces him is going over.
Which is the right thing to do.
Because that was the original plan. That was the original plan for the Goldberg match. Was Goldberg was supposed to go over?
Yeah, but Goldberg doesn't need to go over. Goldberg's crap.
So if Drew McIntyre, if he couldn't beat Roman Reigns, then how does he beat the Undertaker?
Have you seen how old Taker is?
By the time we get to SummerSlam, Taker's probably going to need a wheelchair just to get down the ring anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Let's be honest.
Are they going to do a thing where he comes up through the floor in the middle of the ramp so he only has to walk half the way? They can do that again?
No, because you got to work in that ring. If this was World War III where there was 3 different rings, maybe you could do that, but you got to work in that
I'm talking about like that one WrestleMania where he came up like through the floor like halfway up the ramp, so they only had to walk half the ramp.
I don't remember that one.
Don't care about that. Samoa Joe and Kofi have said that's probably going to be a good match, but I don't see Joe winning. The mixed tag.
Joe should win.
Joe should. Well,
there's Bailey.
The only thing I would say is if you have Joe win
and Nikki Cross, handicap match play.
The only reason I would have a problem with Joe winning, and it's not granted we know I don't like Joe. It's nothing to do with his in-ring ability. It has something to do with personally. My only issue if you have Joe win and then you have Baron Corbin win as well, that means your only face champions, unless they both lose it Sunday, is Finn Balor and Ricochet for the singles department.
Well, who would you rather lose to Shane McMahon, Kofi or Samoa Joe?
What? To Shane McMahon?
He's
going with the rumors that Shane is going to win the WWE Championship.
No, he is not. No,
that I
he
don't
is
buy.
Not.
I've said before, the only way that would be believable if they have him.
No fucking way.
No.
Well, the whole damn company has been centered around Shane McMahon for the past couple months.
No,
he's been in every program.
No, and I'll tell you why that's not going to happen. There's a Canadian guy in the company that's going to come down to the ring and stun him 4 times at
Kevin Owens.
And that would be fucking Kevin Owens.
That's I see Kevin Owens getting involved in that match.
Yeah, but think about it. Shane McMahon's been involved in literally almost every story that they have.
But he's
I
not
will
going to
say
be
this
champion
since you had to bring it up. If, and I do mean if, because I think there's a better chance of the Oakland Raiders winning the Super Bowl this year. If Shane wins, it's only because they're going to probably have Kevin Owens beat him for the belt, most likely at Survivor Series or Mania.
No.
I said if Shane. I don't think Shane's going to.
I can tell you right now, and these are not guarantees. These are spoilers. I'll tell you right now.
Oh God, he's
at
going
SummerSlam. Yeah, these are fucking spoilers. SummerSlam is going to be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for that title.
Nobody wants to see that.
It's happening, brother.
Well,
and you're gonna have on the opposite side,
get that move ready because it's gonna happen.
And the other one is you're gonna have Brock versus 2 other guys because it's gonna be a triple threat match because Brock's gonna lose the WWE title.
Okay, if that happens, I have a feeling Brock will not be taking the pinfall because WWE rarely has him take a pinfall. Yeah.
Yes. And then you're not gonna see Brock until like Survivor Series.
Survivor Series of the Rumble.
Yeah. As for every other title, there's nothing set in stone other than maybe Nakamura and Balor just trade the title back and forth. Because honestly, what else are you going to do with those 2 talented individuals that with a title that you don't even give a fuck about?
Yeah, that's why that's why I said titles don't mean as much anymore. Because at least back in the day, titles actually meant something because of the fact that if you knew they actually carried them with pride. But you can tell the IC title, Vince doesn't give a fuck about that. He probably doesn't give a fuck about the US title.
Now I mentioned those matches for SummerSlam. Now you're probably wondering, okay, so does that mean Seth wins tomorrow night? No, that is not what happens tomorrow night. As I'm telling you right now, it is going. I mentioned it before. It's not going to be Seth going over. It's going to be, believe it or not, and this is how it's going to happen. And I'm calling it now. If you're still streaming, I'm calling you right now, Doug. Mark my words. It's going to be Baron Corbin pinning Becky Lynch.
If that happens, the WWE may just be like, hey, we don't give a fuck about what our fans want. We only care about what this crazy kook wants and runs the place.
And then the following night, they'll get the rematches, and then the titles will come back.
No. Because if I remember the lead up to this, this is all or nothing. There is no rematches allowed after this.
Plus, no.
Plus, didn't they? No. Plus, no. Wait. Let me finish. Didn't WWE also say, because this is the new way we're going to listen to fans, no more instant rematches, so you can't give them a rematch. You also will be. Well, wait. They've already gone back on the word giving Baron Corbin so many fucking chances for the belt.
Yeah, they've gone back on everything they said that when they all came out, so I wouldn't take that into consideration.
Yeah. So for the match's stipulations, the stipulations are this: it is a winner-take-all match. If Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans lose, neither one of them get a title shot at titles again.
Oh, see, I thought it would have been neither one gets a title shot again.
It would
That
have
would
been
have made more
smarter to do it
sense.
that
Yeah,
way.
that would have made more sense.
It would have been smarter that way.
But see, if you do that and then just have them winning back the 24 hours, everyone's going to be like, what's the point of watching the pay-per-view then?
Because it matters to them more about topping a TV rating than the pay-per-views matter.
Well, yeah, because I know the
Because
last
their
pay-per-view
business
did
is
not
in
do
TV
well.
money, it's not in pay-per-views anymore.
No.
Exactly.
Because I know the last pay-per-view did not do well ticket sales-wise. There was a lot of empty seats from what I was being told.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know how bad the ring work was.
Well, from what I heard, it was a pretty decent show up until you got to Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins, then it started to suck shit.
But that's because Baron Corbin.
Seth Rollins is because of Baron Corbin, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Baron Corbin has Baron Corbin ever had a good match? Because when I watched him in NXT, and I've said this before, and people don't understand what I mean by this, how I can say he's the worst wrestler on the planet. When you make me fall asleep doing an Austin Aries match, and I've never fallen asleep doing one of his matches, you suck. Only 3 wrestlers have ever bored me so much to where I actually...
Has Baron Corbin ever had a good match is the question I think it was.
Yes.
Because I dropped my headset.
Only 3 wrestlers...
I'm going to take you guys outside, just give me a second.
No problem. I'll wait to say those 3 wrestlers' names, the only 3 wrestlers that ever put me to sleep doing a match.
Also, they did say during this tag team match it's a 60-minute time limit.
Oh, we're actually going to see a match go Broadway, which, if you don't know what the term means, Broadway means that...
Yeah, I know what it means. Yeah.
Well, in case anybody's watching this after the stream is over, kind of deal.
Noob Cybot.
Oh, the referee bump.
Okay, you guys still there?
We're still here.
Yeah.
Now that you're back, I'll say the 3. The only 3 wrestlers who have ever put me to sleep when I'm watching a match: Baron Corbin. The second one, Jinder Mahal.
Jinder, yeah.
And the third one, which this one usually gets people pissed off at me because I never liked him to begin with, Ultimate Warrior.
I hardly missed it. They just did a double Shattered Dreams on opposite corners to the Young Bucks.
I never liked Goldust's ring work.
Well, I said before I liked him as Dustin, and back in the early days of WCW.
I agree. I was more of a Dustin fan. I didn't like how I liked Dustin in the ring. His ring work was better as Dustin. His gimmick sucked because he never knew if he wanted to be the son of Dustin Rhodes or if he wanted to feud with Dusty Rhodes. To me, it always felt like you could have gone that route with him, and you were afraid to with that character, and that's why I was never that big on him at all.
Granted, what's funny is he's one of the few people that was in WCW and WWE that have won every title excluding the big one.
Now, I thought the Goldust character at the time was just brilliant.
I'm not talking about the character, I'm talking about the ring work.
Because at that time, he was the one person that would get people so visually jarred and get them off their game just for.
Yeah, but you're talking about when he first came out, when he was practically making out with people. Yeah, you're talking about that Goldust. Especially with Roddy Piper, everybody praises that, considering it was a garbage match. And when I use the term garbage, just to clarify, when I say a garbage match, I mean a hardcore match where pretty much anything goes.
Yeah, I know what you meant when it's in the terms of wrestling. Garbage means. Wasn't there, if I remember correctly, that was supposed to be Goldust and Scott and Razor Ramon, but yeah, that was. It was supposed to be Razor and Goldust, but then no, that wasn't it. That's what.
He couldn't make the date, I think.
Kind of. It wasn't the date. It was kind of the date, but not. It was right after the In Your House match between Razor and 123 Kid. Razor Ramon sent Vince a fax saying, after my contract's up, which would have been after In Your House 1, the next In Your House after Mania, he was going to leave and go to WCW because they were giving him more money. Kind of like how Nash did. But
Yeah, they were giving guaranteed contracts. That's
guaranteed contracts. But he wasn't leaving until after his contract was up in WWE. Vince was pissed at that. Now he couldn't punish so he punished Razor, and Razor was storyline suspended till after Mania. So he wouldn't get the Mania payday. Now I know what you're saying. Why didn't Nash get the same thing?
Because Nash didn't do it until the night after.
Pretty much, Nash said he didn't do his thing until after WrestleMania.
After his match, I think.
After his match with Taker,
his match.
And Nash even said he didn't want to leave because he was worried that WCW would bury him like they did in the past, but Vince said back then we couldn't do guaranteed contracts. Now, lo and behold, after that, which is hilarious, the first two people who got a guaranteed contract in the WWE were, and I shit you not, Mark Merrow and Brian Pillman.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat hilarious with that little bit of
Because
history.
look what they did with fucking Mark Merrill.
He had an IC title reign, but that was about it.
Yeah,
Again,
but they killed any momentum he had with the Johnny B. Bad character.
Yeah, which, that Johnny B. Bad character, that was a fun gimmick. You could tell he had fun doing that gimmick. I've said before, you can tell when you're watching wrestling which wrestlers are actually having fun with their gimmick. EC3, I guarantee you, if you hooked him up to a lie detector test, he is not having fun. He's like, why did I come back?
Like my EC3 when TNA did show at the Maryland Theater here in Hagerstown. He was doing the thing where, he didn't want to wrestle, so he was trying to run away. One of the things he did was he sat down at the bench in front of the piano and played it for a little bit.
Oh, I need to use that because we still got the flying bombs.
I know you guys like EC3. I was never big. I didn't mind EC3 under his previous gimmick in WWE when he was in NXT. I didn't mind that gimmick where he was buddy-buddy with Daniel Bryan and, on the old NXT when they did the stupid reality show, which a lot of people hated. And a lot of people still don't know that there was one.
Are you talking about Derek Bateman?
That's the one, Derek Bateman.
I try to forget about that.
I didn't mind him as that because you got good chemistry with him and Daniel Bryan. Because he was always like, we're going to go pick up chicks. And Daniel Bryan's like, why are we going to go pick up chicks? You need to learn how to wrestle. No, we're going to pick up chicks. Like, it was kind of like, and then I swear to God, I think it was like a week later, you started seeing Zack Ryder doing the exact same thing, and people cheered that shit. But they never cheered Derek Bateman. Maybe because it was the hair. Maybe it was his fucking hair, because he did have that weird, it's going to sound very racist, but that weird Jerry curl business that he had.
Jerry curl afro, yeah, I remember that. Every time I saw that afro, I'm like, man, he must have been watching Coming to America and got that product that was in the movie that was fake that would give you that.
And you know what? You mentioned Coming to America, but I'm surprised they never did a gimmick like that. The closest thing to a Coming to America gimmick they did was Akeem the American Dream. Or the African Dream.
You know what the sad thing is?
The closest they ever did.
I guarantee you, more people remember One Man Gang as Akeem the African Dream.
Fucking One Man Gang was another good one. Like, come on. Your finishing move is called the 747, which has nothing to do with a one-man gang.
I think they were calling it I think they were calling it the 747 because I think that might have been the area code for where he was built from, I guess.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't an area code. It was because he was a jumbo jet crashing down on you.
I mean, I always called it the... see, anytime I see a fat man do a splash, I always call it, you're about to die, motherfucker. Oh, God, can you imagine Andre the Giant doing a splash like that? I'd be like, just kill me now.
We just saw it last night. We just saw Andre splash fucking Roman Reigns last night. We just saw that.
Yeah, I know.
And we saw how that match ended.
Yeah, Roman Reigns no selling. What else is new?
Oh, so Doug, he was the guy in TNA that was like the serial killer guy, because I thought I saw an NXT guy almost the exact same name.
I can't remember his name, but he's now in NXT under a new gimmick.
I'm too far away, but what was the question? Who's the guy in TNA? What?
Remember the one I was telling you about in TNA? I couldn't remember his name, but he had like a Dexter gimmick. He was stalking Christy Hemming and all that.
He's got almost the exact same name in NXT, except for like a small difference.
He's got a mustache and a tattoo.
That would be no.
Hold on. What was the question again? Sorry, let's try
It
it
wasn't
again.
a
I'm
question.
raising my controller here.
He
Who's
was
the guy
saying,
in
who was,
TNA?
remember the guy we were talking about a few days ago that was in TNA that I said had the Dexter gimmick? He was like a murder stalker character.
Oh yeah, he's in WWE now. He's in
Yeah,
that
he's in NXT.
TNA breakout tournament.
Well, what's
That's
his
what
name? Do
everybody-
you remember? Because it was like almost the same name. So I was trying to remember his name on
The
wrong.
character was Dexter, and he like tried to kill Christy Hemme or SoCal Val was one of those two he tried to kill. But his name was like Derek Peterson or some shit like that. It was some really generic name. If I remember the wrestler, his current gimmick name, I have to look up who's in the tournament now, and I can probably figure it out. But, yeah, I know who you're talking about. But why you bring up that guy? You just thinking about that guy, though?
Well, because I can't remember his name. That's why.
He had a weird name, but it was very generic. I think he's bad in the ring too. I don't even know why they WWE signed him. And in case anybody was wondering who the Forgotten Sons are, they're basically aces and eights. Because you have, I'm trying to remember, you have Wesley Blake, I think.
Garrett Bischoff.
No.
Yeah, he wasn't. No, Garrett Bischoff was an ace and an eight.
He was. But then again, Hogan was ace and eight too.
Yeah, I know. You had Bully Ray, Devon, D'Lo Brown for some fucking reason. Damn it,
But D'Lo never wrestled. D'Lo was there, but he never wrestled.
Same with Taz. It's like, why do you have two guys who would not get the
comeuppance? At least with Taz, it made sense because that made sense.
Yeah, he was the heel commentator, you know, and I feel like that whole Aces and Eights storyline was nothing but a big-ass middle finger for, like, everyone who likes factions.
No, my opinion of the Aces and Eights gimmick, and I still hold by this, I'm sorry, but if your most edgy thing to do on at the time it was Spike TV, national television, before they became a paid channel. Now you have to have a certain cable setup now.
Yeah, I actually have that cable channel because it's one of those weird action sports channels.
Your edgy idea creatively is to have Bully Ray jerk off a bottle of beer and then drink it to insinuate that it's a phallic symbol and you're coming on live television while Devon is sitting right beside you. Because you know that's protectable even if you were jerking off. That's what people do in a bar. They just like sit around and jerk off beer bottles. I don't think that's what bikers do. I don't think that's what happens in the real world. Not believable at all. If anything, they should have been fighting each other. They should have just been brawling like a fight.
Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. Again, I didn't like the gimmick just because of the fact that I thought they were adding too many people in it, like the NWO.
Yeah. But like, as a rule, biker gimmicks don't get over. I mean, look at the history. There was the DOA.
Yeah, that was a fail. That was terrible.
And
you're breaking up there, buddy boy.
Being to be creative control. What is their name? I want to say the Basham Brothers, but it wasn't. They were tall guys. They were bald. And they were named like Skull and 8 Ball.
Yeah, the Harris twins.
Harris twins, that's it. Thank you, Doug.
Is it sad I remember them back when they were rednecks and all the WWF when they were being managed by Zeb Coulter? God, I hate my memories of wrestling on occasion.
Oh, Zeb Coulter. We, the people. Which is a gimmick that should have gone over.
It should have gotten over. It should happen.
It almost did. It almost did with Jack Swagger. It almost did. And they fucked it up.
Yeah. It's WWE. It was to be expected.
And the other biking gimmick is Aces and Eights. The other biker gimmick that arguably got over Biker Sting, or not Biker Sting, Biker Taker, very badass.
Yeah, because there's a
But
lot of people who
towards
love
the
that
end, a
gimmick.
lot of people just were like, go back, go be dead again, Taker, go be dead, please, go be dead again. And that's just how people are. Once you get something good, after a while, they don't want to see it anymore. Oh, and there's the other gimmick. And most people don't remember this one. Points on anyone who can remember this other one, who ended up being in the first ever WWE gay tag team. Anyone? Anyone in the group?
Can you repeat that?
Hold on, I'll come inside. Just give me a second.
Yeah, because I was busy beating up Kato Khan, so I didn't hear you.
I was too busy beating up Aleister Black.
Stop beating up Aleister Black. That man has.
I'm in a match with him. Can't do
Yeah,
much
that man,
about that.
no, you know that he's got a wife.
For now.
Okay. Your point?
I don't know, I just wanted to say he's got a wife. Who's a video gamer apparently, which is even more surprising. Gives hope for me.
You can't run.
Round 2, fight.
Too slow.
Okay, so my question is, this is trivia time. Who was the first ever co-partner of the first ever WWE gay tag team, who was also who became a biker after leaving the tag team?
Wasn't it? Oh God! The only thing I can
Who
remember.
now
I'm
has
probably
a show, who is now on a show
I know who it is.
on the Discovery Channel where he is a garage guy.
I know who it is. Will you remember me? I'm Chuck Palumbo.
Yes, Chuck Palumbo. Yes.
You know what the funny thing is?
Biker gimmick.
That biker gimmick was so fucking terrible. Because I
Couldn't
tried to
even
give
rev
it.
the goddamn motorcycle.
I tried to give it a chance, but almost every time because when he was doing that gimmick and they came to house shows in Virginia, everyone would just be screaming, "Where is Billy? Where is Rico?" And I'm like, oh God, this man's never gonna get over with this gimmick because everybody just wants to see him back with Rico and Billy.
Where is Rico Suave?
You know it's pretty sad when people want you back with Rico, the gay hairstyle, his gimmick. And then he became flamboyant because he had Jackie as his manager.
Yep.
Oh God, she could not wrestle.
Yeah, she was bad in the ring too, but you know.
No, I remember that match, her and Christopher Nowinski versus Bradshaw and Trish Stratus. Dear God, that match was bad. I want to wish that on my worst enemies.
Oh my God, there was a very bad storm on the net, on the servers, really bad. Battle Stars. But yeah. Battle Stars.
You know what's funny? I kind of find it funny because I did watch the Hall of Fame thing because they aired that on TV, I think, a few weeks later or something. That dig Triple H did at Billy Gunn for signing with AEW.
Oh, that was good. I like that.
That, I was like, ouch. I'm like, well, Billy won't probably be ever welcome back to WWE again.
I don't think that's why. I think he's still on good terms with him. I think he's honestly still on good terms, but
He probably's good terms with Triple H and all them, but probably not with spiteful Vince McMahon.
I don't think Vince cares, to be honest.
Probably not. No.
Honestly, when it comes to shit like that, I don't think Vince gives a shit. Because in like a month, or isn't it like in a month or two, is when the XFL is supposed to start?
XFL starts next year.
Oh, okay. We still got to deal with Vince then.
Correct. Alright guys, and that's gonna do it for the MK11 Towers of Time. It's combat time stream. We are actually in the top 13.7%, so there is a chance I might be able to get into the top 10 before it updates on Tuesday, and we'll get the time crystals. If I still somehow get Sonya Blade, aka Ronda Rousey's skin, I'd be surprised, because I really don't care about Sonya's character. I've never liked her to begin with, and she's not my favorite female character. We know that's Melina. Let's hope next time it's like Baraka or Cabal or Noob Saibot or even Shao Kahn, and then I'll try to get into the top 5 again.
No Shao Kahn for you.
I do like the fact if you take a look at the top 100, if you want 100th place in the top 100, you got to get 51 million points. And if you want the #1 spot on the Race Against Time, you need 165 million points. And people say I don't have a life. But until then,
you don't.
Have a good night.
No life for you, Doug.